Youth pastor, let me guess. You want to reach more students. And youth pastor, let me also guess that you care about pastoring and developing the students that God has already entrusted you. And let me guess, you pour a lot of time, energy, and effort into your teaching messages because you care about the students that God has given you and you want them to grasp the truth that's found in God's word. Listen, I agree with you, and I think that you work too hard to craft and pour over and study and pray and agonize over your messages only for them to die on your hard drive the moment that they're delivered. And so I think that we and all youth ministries should be leaning into the digital presence. That's why I've built this podcast, Hybrid Ministry. So in this episode, we are going to talk about why youth ministries need to be on YouTube, why you should be on YouTube, and how you can get started. And maybe even not add more work to your plate. Welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. My name is Nick Clason, and I'm absolutely pumped and fired up to talk to you about this because in my over a year journey on this podcast, I have grown to love YouTube. When I started with social media and when I started trying to reach students on the internet, YouTube was a distant, kind of far strategy that was on my radar. Like it was like, I'll post some videos over there. But in my time since that, which was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, I have come to love YouTube, and I am more and more convinced that YouTube, in addition to all other digital and social mediums that we can effectively reach students with, but YouTube is one of the best resources out there. And Gen Z, right? Gen Z, I'm not Gen Z, but the students that we as youth pastors are trying to reach, they use their mobile device more than any other device combined. I've actually posted a clip that said that exact stat on my TikTok, on my socials, linked down below in the description if you're interested in that. If you are watching via a podcast catcher, I am going to have some graphs and charts on screen via YouTube. The YouTube link is down below in the description as well. But they use their mobile device more than any other device combined. And one of the comments that I got was like, well, no, duh. What do you want us to do? Use a portable DVD player? And I thought it was a hilarious comment because while they were sort of coming at me, it's a fair question. Like, yeah, what do we want Gen Z to do? Like, use the archaic technology that we as millennials and Gen Xers and older had to and were forced to use before the invention of the cell phone? The cell phone is amazing. Additionally, 45% of teenagers claim to be online, get this, almost constantly. And finally, people say that they are 2 times double as likely to share video-based content rather than text-based posts. I am in a youth ministry leader cohort. It's based on Zoom. It's a national thing all across the country. More information if you're interested in that down below in the show notes. But I recently got tapped and asked in my cohort if I would be willing to workshop this idea of social media. And I was thrilled and honored with the opportunity. And so part of what I'm going to share with you today is actually from that presentation, but I'm going to expound upon it a little bit more because I think about it like this. If an alien were to come down and were to see these statistics that Gen Z uses their mobile device more than any phone, and 45% of teenagers, 45, almost half, claim to be online constantly, and video-based content is 2 times more likely to be shared, then an alien would come down and be like, dang, if you people are trying to actively reach young people with the most important message, the message that you has been laid on your heart and that God has placed on you and said, go preach the gospel to all nations, then by all means, that part of all nations, man, that must mean that youth ministries are crushing social media.
Not so fast, not so fast. Hey, not so fast.
Well, in the famous words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. And here's why. I actually posted back in July 29th in the Download Youth Ministry Facebook community group. Link to that if you're not in that already on Facebook. It's a great community of ideas and questions and answers. It's a really great place. But my question was this, and I think I had like 100 to 200 responses. So not a massive sample size, but also not small either. And I said, hey, how would you rate your web and social presence right now? And many people said, okay. 49% said okay. And 48% said really, really bad. and only 3% said it was good, which I don't get how that math adds up, but feel free to double check me on that. Hey, if you are in the okay category, go ahead and give me a like. Like, we're glad you're here. If you're in the bad category, then you probably owe me a subscribe, because this next playlist that we're in, I mean, honestly, it's for you. And even if you're in the great category, turn the bell on, because I want to help level up your YouTube game in this playlist that we are finding ourselves in, talking about the importance and value of YouTube. And why YouTube, right? Pew Research actually had some statistics. Again, if you're listening, you may want to scrub over to the YouTube section of this video, where in 2022, 95% of teenagers say that they have used the following apps or sites. The app that 95% of them said they used was YouTube. The next highest was TikTok at 67%, a massive drop. Instagram at 62%, and Snapchat at 59%, and then Facebook at 32%, which is down from 71% in this comparative study from 2014. And so actually, we debated the topic Instagram versus TikTok versus YouTube, linked right here at the video that you'll see. If you're on YouTube right now, you can click on that and go watch that video as we explored the pros and cons of each of those categories, and then actually left a final verdict about which of those platforms you should be using. Hint, side note, spoiler alert, it was YouTube, okay? It's the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. Some may classify it as third, but even if you do buy into that third largest search engine in the world thing, it's behind Google, Google Images, and then YouTube, so Google and Google Images kind of are one and the same, which is, I think, why people debate between second and third. Nonetheless, it's the only platform backed by the power of Google and the Google search engine. So think about it. Why do you use YouTube? You jump on there to ask questions, how to change your oil and how to rewire a ceiling fan into your house, and how to, get fast passes at Disney, which unfortunately they don't have them anymore. But if you or anyone has connections down in Orlando and you want to get me a ticket and my family, we're coming in September, so send that on my way. But nonetheless, we get on YouTube to get answers to questions. Guess what? What do we do as youth pastors? We answer students' questions. YouTube and youth ministry are a match made in absolute heaven. Think about it. You're actually already doing this. Your series that you have planned for next month, you are planning it in response to answering a student's question, or you are planning it because you think that your students need this particular message or this particular topic or this particular book study, right? And the good news is all four social networks, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, all of them have a short form vertical based video component right now that is taking the social media landscape by fire. So what that means for you and what that means for me is we can create one type of content, short form vertical based video, which, by the way, remember, video posts 2 times more likely to be shared, and then we can post them across all of the platforms. We no longer have to create content that's specifically curated for each platform. We can create one piece, one type of content to get that message out and spread it across all 4 of the social networks. I've done this before. I'll link down below some of my statistics to the particular section in the video where I did it, but I pulled just 4 pieces of social media content across all 4 platforms, and I added it up. And, none of them were amazingly high in their view rate, but when you strung all 4 of them together, we reached over 500 students on a really badly performing post. And so my question to you and all youth pastors, like I said back at the beginning, is, do you want to reach more students? Social media may in fact be the door in which you can reach more students, not because you're looking for vanity metrics, not because you want to become a famous influencer, but because you believe as a youth pastor that you have been given the burden to help carry out the Great Commission from Jesus Christ himself to reach the world with the message of the gospel and the message of hope. And you can look directly into a camera and share that message with your students. And you, like I said, you're already answering their questions. What if you just started capturing those answers via video? I'm actually opening up a limited amount of spots, 3 in particular. In fact, they may already be filled up from some of my cohort friends, where I am going to offer done for you editing. You film your teaching message, you send me the footage, I will send it back to you edited. I'll give you 3 short form vertical based videos that you can post on whatever platforms you have. and I'll create a YouTube thumbnail for you to go ahead and get that thing started. If you're interested, more information, link down below in the show notes, in the description, or in the podcast catcher, wherever you are. But I love what Sean Cannell actually says. He says, what you should do on YouTube is answer specific questions. He calls it his ASQ strategy. And like I said, you're doing that when you're creating your teaching series. So like, for example, in our student ministry, we just got done answering the specific question, how do you use the Bible? How do you use the Bible, right? Answer that question for your students. And then when you have a student who comes to you 2 or 3 months later that says, hey, can you help me get started on how to use my Bible? You don't have to be like, oh, dog, we just did a series on that 3 months ago. I wish you would have been here. You can give them the link to that content, right? And even your most strict homeschool-based parents, which, by the way, that's me. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. We're probably going to homeschool our kids next year. They love YouTube and they watch YouTube, but they only are allowed to watch it when my wife and I, are in the room with them on the big screen in our main living room. And so you can deliver your content via YouTube to even the strictest parents, and you can, wave all the way up to the kids with absolutely no parental supervision on the internet, because all students, 95%, are on YouTube. Now, they may not be on there for your content, and that's why you have to help kind of build and grow that audience. And that's why I love that YouTube offers the shorts section. They have the kind of TikTok discovery-based algorithm stuff. We've gained a lot of subscribers just organically, both on this personal channel here and also on my student ministry channel. Far more on my student ministry channel, by the way, because we're shooting and producing content with our students, and we're also shooting and producing content with our student staff that's fun, engaging, and entertaining. And then hopefully they follow us there, and then maybe they get a little sneak peek of one of our short teaching reels or videos or whatever, and then that will link to a longer form, more elaborated, fleshed out answer to something that we're answering, their specific question. I also love on YouTube, they have now the community tab with like polls, and you can ask questions and you can post pictures and all kinds of stuff. It mirrors a more traditional sort of social media experience that wasn't there before for YouTube. I also love their playlist feature. It is both a great place to dump any and all of your series. You can, any like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 week series can be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 video playlist. And additionally, and we're going to get deeper into this in this particular how to use YouTube playlist on this channel. It's very meta if you think about it. My playlist helping you create playlists on YouTube for your student ministry, but nonetheless, like, you can also offer free courses to things that are necessary and need to be answered by your students. For example, we did one on baptism, but whenever you get up and preach on baptism, think about it. A wide and vast majority of those students have already been baptized. And so in a lot of ways, while it's a good message and a good reminder, it's also not always like pressing or relevant to every single student in your room. However, if you have a playlist, you can send that information to students, and links and descriptions, subscribes, likes, all those types of things where you can help them move on into that next step. You can meld the in-person and the digital and use it to work together, just like we all do in our own lives. We're using technology to weave into and intersect into the main and real parts of our lives. And also, it's got the live kind of portion of YouTube that you can put a camera in the room and live stream. And you might be thinking, dude, I can't live stream. I don't have that capability in my youth room. Truth be told, neither do I. And that's actually why I propose that we as youth pastors should film videos very much like I'm doing right now on a camera. And so on this, right here on screen is my ebook. It's 100% completely free. And in there is a link to my buyer's guide on getting YouTube gear set up for under $100. You'll buy things like a tripod, a microphone, and some lighting. You can do all that for under $100, and then use the cell phone that you already own that's in your pocket. And if you don't have a smartphone, find somebody in your life who does. You probably know someone, would be my guess. And then start pre-filming your messages, and we can get you started for under $100. And like I said, a limited run right now where I'm offering 3 people into my kind of beta trial course of I will edit your videos for you on social media. But live streaming, it's probably what most of us do. It's probably how most of us post our church's content onto the internet, but that's not made for YouTube. That's made for church, which is why I actually, I recommend pre-filming the messages because you don't have live streaming capabilities, but I also recommend pre-filming messages because it's what's made and optimized for YouTube. Would you rather watch a video that's made for YouTube, or would you rather watch a video that's made for another experience where you're sort of just in the back of the room and you're not the focal point, and the speaker, the presenter, they're not focused on you, they're focused on what's in front of them. And there should be, right? That's why I recommend pre-filming your messages. It's not going to be that much more work. All you have to do is find time to sit down for 20, 30 minutes per week, deliver your message direct to camera, and potentially send it on to me to edit. If not, you can do some basic editing. We're going to get into that in this playlist, but that's why I recommend pre-filming, because the most dynamic content, if you go to the YouTube home screen on your YouTube account, probably the content that is being delivered to you and fed to you through the algorithm is content that is made for the medium of YouTube. And you can create content like that by pre-filming your messages that you're already doing the study and work to produce and make. And with a few small tweaks, we can get you up and running and launch a YouTube channel where you can reach students with the hope and the message of the gospel, with a content that is made for the medium in which you're posting. And we're going to get into all of that linked right here on the screen. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a single other video here in this playlist. We here at the Hybrid Ministries Show want to make digital discipleship easy, possible, and accessible for you. So as always, stay hybrid.